Good morning. Good morning. Great morning. Hi to our replay viewers. How you doing, guys? My name is Demita McGee. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time you are tuning in. I appreciate you so much for being here. If we have absolutely never met before, let me let you know what you're tuning into. Maybe somebody shared the video with you. Maybe, I don't know, you stumbled across it. But I am Demita McGee. I'm half of Team McGee, my amazing husband. We are co-owners of a company called Christian Women. That's my coaching program. Forgive me. Christian Business Academy Worldwide. And the cool thing is, together with our beautiful tribe, our beautiful community, we are reviewing this book right here, you guys, called Business Secrets from the Bible: Spiritual Success Strategies for Financial Abundance by author Rabbi Lapin. Okay, and so we are almost done. You have caught us before we finished the book. Yes, you have. We are on secret number 39 out of 40 secrets in this book. So today and tomorrow, we are covering the last two secrets. So welcome, welcome, welcome. You made it before we finished. What's up? I see our live viewers hopping on. How y'all doing this morning? Great morning. What's up, Sheridan? Hey, beautiful. How are you guys doing this morning? So to our replay viewers, and also, of course, to our live viewers, we're going to start by doing what we normally do. Let's tag a few friends, a few family members, a few accountability partners, all that good stuff. Let's share. That may be how you actually got to this video in the first place if you're on the replay. But I'm glad you're here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and tag a few people real quick. And, wrong button. And then we're going to get into today, you guys. Today we are talking about, like I said, Secret 39. You guys, we've gotten all the way through this book. I had a beautiful woman tell me yesterday. She said, when I get up and I pop on Facebook, I know you're going to be on first thing in the morning. And so she said, I'm just so proud of your consistency. And I said, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I do. All right, guys, I'm almost done. Forgive me. Almost there. All right. Okay. I'm ready now. All right, y'all. Let's dig in to today. As you can see, scrolling across the bottom of the screen, Secret 39. We are focused on this specific topic. You can ruin today by planning bad things for tomorrow. And we're going to dig into that. So before we do, I'm wearing this shirt. It says teach everything you know. Shout out to ConvertKit for sending this to me. But I'm switching up my schedule a little bit. I'm working on getting an even better schedule. Trying to get this thing efficient with the kids being out of school. You know. Even though they were here all day before, now they're present. Like they're here and they're present. And so I'm going to go for my run right after we finish this morning. So I can squeeze it in and not try to squeeze it in during the day and miss it or anything like that. So I'm dressed to go running, y'all. I'm not dressed for you this morning, but hey, we're making some adjustments to get this thing right. So great morning. Hey, Ann, I see you, Queen. Great morning. All right, y'all, let's dig into today. Let's start with prayer like we always do. Thank you so much, God. Father, we thank you for allowing us to be a part of another day. For this is the day that you have made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. Somebody laid down last night, God, and they did not wake up this morning, but you saw fit for us to be a part of another day on this side of heaven. And Father, we say thank you. We ask that you be present in this time that we have together. Continue to impart your wisdom into us so that we can do what thus saith the Lord and continue to be a vessel every single day, God. I am finding that you are building my character in ways that are not necessarily easy for me. But God, I trust you. When I don't trust man, I still trust you. And I'm so grateful to have you as my coach, my mentor, my father, the ultimate leader, and my king. And I thank you so much for being our God. In Jesus' name, we pray this morning. And our hearts say, amen, amen. Great morning, Lana. I know that's you. Lana always says beautifully blessed, and I love it. So today, again, you guys, we're on Secret 39, and we are talking specifically about you can ruin today by planning bad things for tomorrow. And he tricked me a little bit in this chapter, y'all. Let me tell you how he tricked me, because I didn't realize that we were going to be digging more into retirement. I did not know that. And but I could relate so much to a lot of the things that he talked about in this particular secret. What I want you to realize, which is also what I had to realize as I get into these last like few secrets of the book, where he talks about retirement and talks about how retirement is unhealthy, talks about how retirement is not something that we should do. We really need to think about it, as he really challenges, great morning, Eugenia, as he really challenges my thought process, y'all. I had to think about something. And that something was this. Everything that I've ever learned was, I've learned through our school system. I've learned through my parents and their values. But everything that I've learned when it comes to working, when it comes to being a productive citizen, it ends with the retirement. There is a gnat, and it just keeps floating and flying right in my face. It ends with retirement. Now, all my life, you know what I mean? I've been learning that retirement is a positive thing. You work for retirement. You work, to be able to pay your bills. You guys, when I tell you the things that I have learned about money in the last year, the things that we have reviewed in the last 2 months in this book, it can completely change your mindset. And you start to realize, I really did not know how this thing was legitimately meant to work. And so if you're like me, you have been taught that you go to work so you can provide and take care of yourself and your family, so you can have food on the table. That's what you go to work for. You don't go to work because you love what you do, although that would be great. A lot of us have resigned to the idea that we're not going to enjoy our jobs. We're just there to get a paycheck. And we understand that when we're just there to get that paycheck, it affects our attitude, right? So we're there just to get a check. We don't like what we do. And so we're just trying to get through it so we can get to retirement. Great morning, Laskaya. So we can get to retirement. Like, that's our whole goal. So we can get through this part of life so we feel like we're going to enjoy life on the end during retirement. You guys, that is so backwards. And I did not know how backwards it was. Think about if we only focused, literally everything that we've been taught, if we really focus on getting through our working years so we can get to our golden years. Because in our golden years, that's when we can relax. What happens with all this time in between? That's so much time. That's so much time. So we spend so much time focused on the golden years that we don't enjoy our present years. And we waste those away, not enjoying it. What if you could truly enjoy the life that you're living? What if it could be more fulfilling and you weren't waiting on this beautiful golden era that we assume it's going to be, where for in some way, shape, or form, we think that the money that we put away today is going to be enough to sustain us later. And most people don't even have a clue how much money they need to even sustain their life. Like, most people don't have a clue. They've never even sat down and calculated it. And so they're just throwing money at accounts that they don't follow, that they don't track, hoping that whoever is managing that retirement account, that they are doing a good job. Like, this is real talk. This is what a lot of us do. I remember when I got my first job in my career after college. I remember looking at those papers when you pick how you want to do your retirement. I remember looking at those papers and looking at her like, which one do I pick? And she's like, I can't, she being our HR, manager at the time, she's like, I can't tell you which one to pick. You have to pick what you want. Because she didn't know. And guess what? Nobody in that store probably knew. No one really in the company knew, because people don't understand money. I could have taken that same thing to my parents and said, what do you think I should do? And you know what they would have told me? The same thing everybody else says, you're younger, so you could be riskier. That's it. That's all they would have said. And so I would have counted on the money that I was taking out of my check to go into this retirement account, what the company actually matched. And I would have counted on that being enough for me to live in my golden years. But the reality is I had never calculated a thing. I don't know how much money it would have been. I have no clue. And that's the reality for most of us. That is the reality for most of us. And so when I think about everything that we've been taught, we just didn't realize it was backwards. We just didn't know. We didn't realize it wasn't the best education. We just didn't know, right? And so recently I found out that they've raised the retirement age. This is not something that I knew, because people are living longer. So it makes good fiscal sense. People are living longer, so they raise the retirement age. Is it fair? Well, we've already talked about in one of these secrets, life isn't fair. Fair is not even a word in the Hebrew language. And what does it tell us? If it doesn't exist in the Lord's language, it doesn't exist. So we don't have to worry about fair. We know it doesn't exist. Right? But it makes fiscal sense that they would raise the retirement age. People are living longer. Has it ever occurred to you what retirement is really for? Like when I dig into the concept of retirement, you guys, when I dig into the concept of this and I think about, okay, so there's money that is taken out of our checks. Like we willfully go ahead and take a percentage, and we say we want to invest in this set of stocks or whatever's part of that particular portfolio package. Most of the time, we don't even know what's in there. So we want to invest in that piece. Okay. It's either risky because we're younger, so we could be riskier, or it's more conservative because we're getting a little older, or it's a moderate category, right? So we take that money and we just trust them to invest it for themselves, or to invest it for us, right? We entrust it with whoever is taking care of it. We don't know who it is, but we just entrust it to them. And they're going to take that money and they're going to maximize it. And have you ever wondered what really happens? Like, how do they do it? What do they do? When I started learning about investing in the last year, obviously not 20 years ago, because when I just put money in that 401k, I was throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping that something stuck. As I started truly understanding the art and the science of investing, the interesting thing now that I question is, if I'm able to have these kinds of returns on my own, what could I potentially have had I known what to do with that money and had learned how to actually invest it myself? What could I have done? What could I have done? Right? And so, when you get a return, think about this. This is just so interesting to me now that I'm learning more about money. When you are at a company and you have a retirement account, and over the course of a year, maybe you get a 5% return over that year on the money that you've invested. Because, you know, at the end of the year, you typically get these statements that'll tell you like your full benefits, what's in your retirement accounts, things like that. Most of us have no clue if we're on track for actual retirement, though. It's just that we don't know how to calculate and what to calculate. And once I learned that, wait, I could get something like 5% back towards the end of the year. But once I realized that, wait, you guys, I have a portfolio right now that has grown over 500% since January. Okay. We are currently in July at the time of this recording. You know why? Because I am learning myself how to do it myself and remove the middle person and actually learn the process, right? With that being the case, this is so powerful. Why am I saying this? Because see, when I look back at that time, I think if they're able to give or if I'm able to earn 5 or 6% on this money, what is the money really making? There are questions that we never asked before. I'm telling you now to start asking the questions, because we'll start making better decisions. So is retirement really about you? Is it really about you and your golden years? It may have meant something different before when retirement first started, but is it really about you right now? Is it really about you? Or is it about what can be done with that money that you are trusting people with that you don't know, you don't understand, you don't see what's happening. Like, we're so uneducated about the process. But is it really about you? Or is it about what can happen with all of this money that you accumulate over 40, 50 years and you allow someone else to manage? What are they doing with it? Like, what are they doing with it? I'm going to just give you a side note here. So we got to start to question that. That's why we have to have a grounded or a personal philosophy that grounds us, because that's when you start to ask different questions. That's when we start to look and say, wait a minute, this doesn't necessarily make sense. That's why as I read this book, it challenges the very nature of who I am, because I have been programmed in a system that has taught me retirement is what we do. It's taught me it's what we do. Warren Buffett is how old? He hasn't retired because he's serving at such a high level at this point. Such a high level. It's not about the money for him. It's about the service. Bill Gates officially stepped down from Microsoft. So I guess that's retiring, only to become a philanthropist and really focus on the causes that bring him joy, the causes that are really important to him. So he never stopped working. He shifted his focus, right? I got a brand new book. I'm part of a coaching program. And in that program, we have a book that we're reading, and it's so interesting. This is the book. It's called What Would the Rockefellers Do? And I just started reading this book, so I can't give you guys too much. What I can tell you is just the first 5 pages alone. I was like, oh my God, Demita, I never even thought about that. Yesterday, when LaWayne and I, we were going to our team night event, right? We're driving. I'm like, babe, listen to this. And I'm reading these pages and reading this stuff to him. So, this is a bonus training. Why is it a bonus training? Because, somebody else like, yes, I have that book. I had never even heard of this book before, honestly. So, this is a bonus training because what I'm about to tell you now is everything that we've learned here, all this stuff that we've learned, guess what? It's up to you to teach your children. It's up to you to teach your grandchildren. No one else is going to do that for us. You know what happens if you don't? They're going to do what we did. They'll end up at work, in a career field, in a job, looking at the same papers that we looked at, maybe a little modified, a little adjusted, trying to pick a retirement account they are completely uneducated about, that absolutely nobody is going to give them any counsel over. And in their very young minds, because they don't understand, they don't know, we've never talked to them about a 401k, never talked to them about retirement. This is the first introduction that they have to it. They're going to look at it and they're just going to pick what they think they could pick. It's literally like covering your eyes and doing this on a piece of paper because they don't know what to do. So if we do not take the ownership and we don't teach these principles to our children and we don't help them get educated, guess what happens? They suffer. And now, not only did you not necessarily learn what you should have learned at a certain age, the reality is you're learning it now so they can learn sooner. So we can pass down something different other than liabilities and debt and the wrong education. Now we can teach them what the world is not going to teach them, because the reality is most of the world doesn't know. So at the very beginning of this book, he talks about the reason it's called What Would the Rockefellers Do? This is so interesting. He talks about the Vanderbilt family and then the Rockefeller family. The gentleman whose name is Cornelius Vanderbilt, he and John D. Rockefeller, who most people absolutely know already, those two gentlemen, Vanderbilt, Cornelius Vanderbilt, and Rockefeller, both of them, right? Or independently, they made more than, check this out. Are you guys ready for this? They actually amassed wealth that was greater than that of Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and Mark Zuckerberg combined. So Cornelius Vanderbilt amassed wealth that was more than those three individuals who we all know very, very well. And so did John D. Rockefeller. Both of them independently amassed wealth that superseded those three people, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg combined. And so Cornelius Vanderbilt, this is so interesting. At his death, it was estimated that his fortune topped $100 million. All right. That was at the time, which is more than $200 billion today. right? It's more than that today. So the value of what he had then, it would be $200 billion in today's time. So what he did was he passed it down, of course, to his son and then his surviving wife and children, and he split it up. His son died 9 years after his father. And in that 9 years, he doubled the family's net worth. In 9 years, he doubled that 100 million to 200 million, which is the equivalent of $400 billion today. Okay. But guess what happened after that? The family, after that son's death, squandered everything. And by 1947, all of these mansions that they had built in Manhattan, they were all torn down. By the time, they said there's literally a direct descendant of Cornelius Vanderbilt died broke at just 48 years after he did. So 48 years after Cornelius Vanderbilt died, when he died, his wealth was in excess of $200 billion. 9 years after he died, his son died, and his son doubled that wealth to $400 billion. And if we do the math, 40, just about 40 years later, 39 years later, it was all gone. How do you blow that kind of money in just one generation? Okay. We contrast that with Rockefeller. John Rockefeller, he similarly amassed a hell of a lot of money. In 1937, his obituary said that at that point, he had amassed $1.5 billion. So his estimates of wealth are somewhere between $243 billion and $341 billion. Even with all of that, you guys, he gave away so much of his fortune to charity. He gave away $530 million to charity. He left $460 million to his son. And they really did some things that they're going to explain in this book. The difference is, this is the difference. So we see that Vanderbilt's family, 48 years after he died, completely squandered the entire fortune. 6 generations later, for the Rockefellers, all right, the family, it says it is estimated that they still have, where is it? Well, more than 150 Rockefellers currently receive interest income from their family's trusts. 150 of them. The family is said to donate as much as $50 million per year to charity, carrying on Senior Rockefeller's tradition of philanthropy. This is where it hit me. You guys ready for this part? Because this is where it got really good. Let me find it. Hold on. There's a specific part that I want to read to you guys. It's literally just a little section. It says, imagine. Here we go. Imagine one of your great-grandchildren presiding over a family fortune of tens of millions of dollars, or even hundreds of millions of dollars. And imagine that whenever your great-grandchild receives a check to help pay for education, or to buy their first home, or to start a business, or even help survive financial disasters like medical bills, illness, or disability, your grandchild gives a quick toast to your memory. Your grandchild toasts to you because you started it all. You amassed wealth, and you left behind a set of values and a financial legacy to shepherd that wealth. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. He says it is possible for you not to just leave a legacy for your kids, but It is possible for you not to just leave your kids better off than you were, but to spark a financial legacy of wealth and empowerment that lasts for generations. This is where this got really good to me, because in order to do that, guess what you cannot do? You cannot leave the world to educate them. It is our responsibility to do it. It's our responsibility to learn these things so we can then pass those things down to our children. When we were talking yesterday, I was like, babe, we got to teach them. Like, we can't wait on somebody else to teach them. We can't expect anyone else to teach them, because the reality is, who's reading these books? Who's getting this information and this knowledge like we are? Nobody. A very few people, which is why 5% of the population holds 95% of the wealth in our country. That's why. Because only a very small percentage of the population is doing this type of research and digging and learning and educating themselves so they can pass this down to their kids. Y'all, that was powerful for me. So now back to business secrets from the Bible. That was an aside bonus training. And now we're back here. So we can't have the world teach them that, yes, retirement is what you need to do. You work all these years focusing on retirement, which is why he says you can ruin a thing today by planning bad things for tomorrow. Nothing throws the brakes on success like worrying about the future. You guys, I could relate to this paragraph so much. He said, you might be going about your day, meeting all your obligations with aplomb. And aplomb is a fancy word for you just like confidence, like you're killing it for the day, right? So you might be going about your day, meeting all your obligations with aplomb, diligently serving other people and God, doing everything right, and you feel great, when suddenly this niggling feeling about tomorrow descends over you. This kind of nagging worry is terrible and is a terrible form of spiritual gravity. Everything may not fall apart at once, but we can feel ourselves slowly coming apart at the seams. We start planning and fretting over what must be done the next day or the next week, and we worry about what the following year holds, and suddenly we are not living fully in the present. Who's been there? This girl. I kid you not, my June was nowhere near as productive as it should have been because I was so concerned about some things that are going on in July. So my June felt like it came to a halt almost in some areas because of my preoccupation with July. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And I know we've all been there. I see y'all in the comments like me. It's ridiculous. I was so preoccupied with the next month that I couldn't even live currently and present in that current month. Like, that makes no sense. And I allowed it to slow me down, and I allowed it to stop me in some areas. So he says this, and this is so good. He said, bad thoughts, worry about the future is troubling for humans. Bad thoughts about tomorrow can infect our spirits and performance today in noticeable and measurable ways. Like, noticeable. The end result of your life, oh, this is so good, is a direct result of what came before. You don't get to the end of anything without having come from the beginning and having traveled along the way. So you don't get to, you don't get to 50 without first being 30, and 31, and 32, and 33, up to 50. You don't get to 70 without getting through every year that precedes it. Right? If we found this right here, powerful. If we found that we have ended up somewhere bad, we can assume that we got there by traveling the wrong path. Like, you didn't just end up in the wrong place. You got there because you traveled the wrong path to get there. We didn't just have a bad ending, right? We also got off to a bad start, or at the very least, he said, took a wrong turn somewhere along the way. So he likens this to retirement. This is all leading to retirement. He's talking about how, listen, if what you are focused on is the end, you cannot live in the present. We've all been there. You guys are like me, we've all been there. What we've never been challenged with is looking at retirement as something that's not negative. Our entire lives, if you're anything like me, it's been seen as a positive sign that you did what you were supposed to do during your working years. But if we now understand that the goal is not just money, that's not what this goal is. The goal is specifically so we can serve God's other children and he rewards us financially. Then we can see where our focus is on the wrong thing. He breaks that down so well right here in this book. He says, I don't chase money. I don't love money. I love the opportunity of serving other human beings. The fact that God has set up a world in which serving others results in earning money is just icing on the cake. I always say this. God knew what he was doing when he attached children and sex together. He knew what he was doing, because most people wouldn't opt for those teenage years. Most people wouldn't opt for the terrible 2s and the 3s and those toddler years. But when you attach it to something pleasurable, it's like, okay, they go, children are a blessing. Thank you very much. And so he attaches money compensation to service, right? He attaches the two of them. It's like, okay, I see where you're going with this, right? Because most of us would choose money over service, okay? Most of us would choose sex over children. That's how they related. Go with me. Okay, he says, don't get me wrong. Bountiful prosperity is a huge blessing, but I try never to lose sight of the goal, serving others. And I try to view money as a mere testimony to the fact that I served many of God's children, but money is not the end goal. You can see that if you focus only on the monetary rewards of working, you lose sight of the true goal, which is to help other people. If we are willing to retire, y'all, this is good. Clearly, we are only working for the money, not for the serving. No one retires when they've served enough. Y'all feel that? This is not God's plan for us. Working isn't about what you can get. It's about what you can give. He's drilled that into us. You get only after you've given. There is no reason you should stop asking yourself, or he said, working is about asking, what can I do for you? There's no reason you stop asking that question when you turn 65. Like every day you're working and you're like, what can I do for you? When you're growing your business, what can I do for you? And then all of a sudden the calendar says you're 65 and you just stop asking the question. Like, yes, the point is, it doesn't make sense. He says, the more you serve, the more money flows towards you. But do not get it backwards. Your focus is on serving, not money. The more you focus on the money, the less it flows towards you. This is the paradox of work, and it works with utter reliability. This is what he means when he says you got to give before you get. Y'all. Oh my God. Anne said, yes, that's good. Anne shall not retire. Absolutely. You guys, this was a serious adjustment. I'm so glad. Sharon is like, wow, this is incredible. This was a serious adjustment for me because it challenged what I've known, what I've been indoctrinated with. That is why you absolutely must, and you guys understand this. Not everybody does, but that is why we absolutely must educate ourselves, and not the traditional form of education. You guys, most of you know that I'm in school, and I'm actually in school full time. I don't know what I was thinking, doing that, a business and all this at the same time. But this is the reality. What we learn in a traditional school setting, I've learned so much more outside of that it's taken me so much farther. For clarity, I am in school right now getting a degree in divinity. I'm just doing what God told me to do. What he's going to do with that, I got no clue, y'all. That's just for clarity. So I'm not anti-school, just so you know, not anti-school at all. I'm about getting educated the best way that's in a way that's best for you. And for everybody, that's not a degree. And the reality is, once we step outside those school doors with that cap and that gown and we get celebrated for finishing, that is not the end of your learning process. The reality is you starting a whole new one. And this is the one 9 times out of 10 that's going to get you the most. It's that extra reading. It's that stuff like y'all putting in that sauce right now. This is the stuff. Like Anne's business is about to go to an even higher level because she's putting in the work so she can get better. Sherida's business is going to get even better because she's putting in the work so she can become a better person. Tanisha, like I can say it for all of y'all, Askaya, Eugenia, I can say it for every single one of you, Lana, because you're putting in the work for you to get better. because you're getting the education that you need. He says your focus must be on serving other people, and then, and only then, will you see money flow towards you. Have y'all heard this before? You must be obsessively preoccupied with the needs and desires of other human beings, not money. Focusing on retirement corrupts your entire career. Because, are y'all ready for this part? I got it when he said this. Like, I got it. Focusing on retirement corrupts your entire career because it means you are only in it for the money. It's the only reason you're there. I can admit, that's what I was taught. I wasn't taught to be in it for the love of servicing people. I wasn't taught that. I was taught you go to work to make money. That's what I was taught. You go to make money. You do what you got to do. You make the money you need to make so you can make the proper plans. And so once you've done that long enough, you can retire and live in your golden life. That's what I was taught. Yes, I was in it for the money. So when I transitioned into entrepreneurship, I didn't know how not to be in it for the money. All I knew was all I knew. I thought you were an entrepreneur because of money. I thought that was the reason you became an entrepreneur. So now you can have the freedom to make money the way you wanted to make money. I didn't know you become an entrepreneur not because you just want to make money. I didn't know you became an entrepreneur because you wanted to serve people at a different level. I didn't know that. And so my first network marketing company, or my last network marketing company, I was all about money. That's what was important to me. I used to say things like, I need money like I need oxygen. What? I used to say that. And I used to think that that was okay to say. No, I don't. What I need to do is I need to focus on serving God's children. That's what he put me for. Why am I part of his master plan? God, show me what I'm supposed to do to help your children. Show me what I'm supposed to do to make their lives better, to make their lives easier, to make their lives more fulfilling. Like, what is it that you want me to do to help them? And see, when I focus on that, oh my God, I'm talking to myself now, y'all. When I focus on that, I know you will reward me accordingly. And so I didn't know. And if you're anything like me, you probably didn't know either, that we don't go into entrepreneurship for money, because the world tells us that's what we do. We go see, a lot of us, we get into entrepreneurship because we don't like our job. It's like, I don't even want to be here. I want to retire now. Let me find a way so I can get out of here now. That's a lot of the reasons a lot of people go into entrepreneurship, right? Another reason is some people, they have to. Like, childcare might be an issue. Maybe they either can't afford childcare, they don't trust the childcare system, or they just don't have a lot of options. So now they're forced to go into entrepreneurship and figure something out. So, and then some people look at their bosses and they're like, you're an idiot. I can do this way better than you can. I quit. So literally, it's not always like a positive reason that people go into entrepreneurship, but it's typically a money motivated reason. And we don't even understand, because that's what the world teaches us. That the world teaches us that. The world doesn't teach us what scripture says. Like, that's for us to understand. And your pastor can't do that for you every Sunday. It requires daily getting up, reading a few pages, studying those pages, and it requires daily discipline to make that work. And only then. And if you're like me, where sometimes you might want to study a topic, you pull out your Bible, you try to start reading, and you like, hold up, this does not make any sense. I'm completely confused. Then that's where you get somebody that helps you break it down. A book like this. So when you get someone who has experience in it, when you get someone who can take it and interpret it, and now it gives you a place to start, and now you go back to the word and you're like, I get it now. God, continue please to give me more wisdom. Help open my mind so I can understand. Oh my God, please, Father. And now you're learning his way, his system. And you go back like, wait, this is completely contrary to what I learned in the past. These don't match. That's why I'm struggling. That's why I'm not fulfilled internally. That's why. Man, listen, y'all, I just had a revelation myself this morning. This last part right here, I think I was talking to me more than I was talking to you guys. My goodness. And so Knowing that on the deepest level, most people are motivated best by a call to a higher purpose is a practical and indispensable tool for managing a military, a business, or family. And so what we were just talking about, we do things to serve. He gives an example that is really good. And I was like, oh my God, that was good. He said that he was at a restaurant. He stopped by this restaurant in Dallas and he heard this gentleman talking to this waitress, and he asked her, he was like, you give great service. How would you like to help people enjoy healthier skin and better looks? Right? Before that, he asked her, he said, he was eavesdropping on a conversation between a waitress and another customer. The customer asked the waitress what she did when she wasn't waiting tables. That's how the conversation started. What she did when she wasn't waiting tables. She responded that she was a recent immigrant and hadn't found any other work yet. That's when the customer said, you give great service. How would you like to help people enjoy healthier skin and better looks? Her eyes lit up when he offered to hire her to do sales from a cosmetics kiosk in one of the largest malls in Texas. Right? Now he goes, never mind hiring the waitress. I would have liked to hire that man. He knew not to ask his prospect, how would you like to make more money persuading passersby to try hand cream? Y'all see that? Instead, he motivated her by appealing to a slightly higher purpose. He asked her how would she like to serve her fellow man. I just learned something right there for me when I'm prospecting people. I just learned something right there. Like, you give amazing service. Do you do anything different? Do you do anything else? What else do you do when you're not here? Right. How would you like to help somebody else? Like, how would you like to help somebody else and get them on the path to financial peace so they can learn how to give service like you're giving to people? Like, he just taught me a whole thing in that 1 second. Yes, right. And says, now that's how I'm going to hire. I know he changed the whole game with that. And so his purpose, or he's saying that to say that we appeal to a higher purpose in people. He says that when it comes to, and he gave me another tip here. He says that when he's talking to his kids about cleaning up, he doesn't just talk to them about how the house needs to be clean. It should be clean. He doesn't talk to them about that. He appeals to their sense of, listen, your mother does a lot. We're helping your mother by helping keep the house clean. He appeals to that sense of a higher purpose, right? He talks about the U.S. Army. Like, when you see commercials for the U.S. Army, you'll see the tagline and the slogan is be the best that you can be. He understands that, like, they understand that people are going to put their life on the line to fight for the country. And so I don't feel like that would be a great marketing tactic. Come put your life on the line and fight for our country. Like, who would do that? But if I appeal to your higher standard of being everything that you can be the best that you can be, then I have people who enroll. That's where this closing statement comes from. When he says, knowing that on the deepest level, most people are motivated best by a call to a higher purpose is a practical and indispensable tool for managing a military, a business, or family. A good leader takes time to share his or her vision and the idea and passion behind it, rather than simply relying or relaying the task that needs to be accomplished. I'm gonna give you a quick example and we'll wrap it up because I gotta hit these sidewalks in this path in the next 4 minutes. A beautiful teammate of mine, when you do network marketing and you do presentations, they can get monotonous, right? And so one of our amazing leaders, she's really good at tweaking things. And one of the things that we said yesterday, I was talking to her yesterday and I was like, I love all those types of changes. I think they're powerful. The analytical side of me would love to add this and add that. I said, but this is a challenge. I have to keep this presentation at the point that it is as simple, like it is the simplest for the person who in the room who is the most afraid to get up front. I got to keep it so basic that even the least proficient presenter can still do it. You know why? Because that will duplicate faster than if I make it very complicated. See, if I make it complicated, then I know that people who understand complicated things can do it. But if I keep it simple, guess what I know? Everybody can do it. I know that if I have this presentation so simple that as I'm saying it, people can almost like their mouth is moving because they could say it with me, then I know we're getting somewhere. That's the power in network marketing of duplication. The fact that if you are literally almost saying the same thing with me because the words come out the same every time, if you're saying the same thing because you know this presentation like the back of your hand and you sitting in the audience with your guest, then I have done it the way it needs to be done. It is so simple. So instead of just saying, no, we can't put that in there, I gave the vision. The vision is you need to make this so simple that people, it's repeatable and it's easy to repeat over and over and over and over and over. So explaining the vision of imagine having a room full of people and that whole room is on your team. And in addition to that entire room being on your team, all of those guests that are in there are guests that are coming to be a part of the organization that you're building. And the person that is sitting next to them, they can almost regurgitate. They can say it with you, this presentation, because it is so simple, but yet it is so effective at the same time. You paint the vision, right? Which is what he's saying. He says a good leader takes the time to share his or her vision and the idea and the passion behind it rather than simply relaying the task that needs to be accomplished. Okay. Mundane and often boring jobs lay the groundwork for majestic missions. Oh my God. Being able to envision the goal in grand terms makes even the difficult tasks achievable. This is true for organizations, and this is true for individuals. You guys, I pray that this was a blessing for you. Honestly, I'm glad that God took over like I am every morning, because he brought some things out that even when I was reading this, I had no idea that was going to happen. I'm just going to read through a couple of the comments. Laskaya said, that brought so much insight to me because I always say I'm simple, not meaning I'm simple, but the way I learn and teach is simple. Absolutely, Laskaya. I get exactly what you mean. Yes, 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 yes. Eugenia said, you are talking to me for sure. This is powerful. You need that reminder on this journey. It's not about you. It's about the people you serve. Grateful for reading this book again. This has been amazing. I'm not sure which part this was, but it says that God, that's so good it brings tears. I always wonder why I love to serve so much and I never lacked. My God, that's why I physically clean. That's Anne. Wow. You guys, I'm so grateful that this was helpful. I'm so grateful. Like God literally revealed things to me while I was sitting here talking to y'all. And then tomorrow, are y'all ready for the very last secret of this book? Y'all did it. Secret number 40, retirement tends to isolate you. And then we're going to close this bad boy out with that. And then the final thoughts. And then we get a break for a couple of days. And then next week on Tuesday, July the 6th. Remember, we're not starting this until Tuesday. So you will not see me on here until Tuesday. Monday morning, sleep in because you're probably going to need it with all the fireworks all over the place, keeping you up until 2 o'clock in the morning. So Tuesday, we are starting the 21-day financial fast again with Michelle Singletary. And by Michelle Singletary. You never know. One day it might be with her. I speak those things into existence. And so, yes, grab your book. If you've done this with us before, trust me, do it again. Trust me on that. Let's do it again. You guys have a beautiful day. Thank you for hanging out with me for a bit. I appreciate y'all. I love you. I love you. I'm grateful for you. Y'all make this all so worth it. Ann says, I can't wait. Let's work, y'all. Invite a friend, invite a family member. You will be so grateful you did. They will be so blessed. It is 3 weeks that I promise you can actually, if you do the work, now it's all contingent upon you doing the work, right? If you read the book and you do the work, it's 3 weeks that really can be transformative. Let's go, y'all. We're not going to be the people that don't understand our finances. Not only, and I pray this over you, God, do I pray this over you. Not only are we getting our finances right and we're learning what we didn't learn before, but you guys, God is putting us in a position to teach our children. God is putting us in a position where we're going to teach our grandbabies and our great grandbabies, and we're going 15 to 16 generations deep. And not only that, you know what I thought about yesterday, y'all, and I pray this over you too. I thought about when I read just the very beginning of this, I thought about, man, he doubled what his father did in just 9 years. I said, babe, look, what we're focused on right now, the ranks in our company, and that's not even the only thing that we're doing. I'm still coaching. You know what I mean? There are other investments that we're going to make. We've been learning so much stuff. But let me tell you, imagine. Are y'all ready for this? Just imagine the wealth that you can build for your family. Imagine that you build wealth in excess of $100 million for your family, 200 million, several hundred million, $1 billion. And then your children, the next generation, they double it. And then your grandchildren, they carry it on too. Then your great-grandchildren, they take it to the next level. Then your great-great-great-great, it just keeps going generation after generation because you put not only the proper foundation in place, you ensured that there was a system of education where your children, your legacy, your seed, where they would learn the same things you are learning now, and they would learn even more. That's what's possible. That's what we have to figure out. How do we put the system of education in place? Because you cannot just put that kind of money in uneducated hands. You can't do it. You saw what billions of dollars, what happened in 48 years in one family. It'll happen to yours too. You'll work so hard to get it started and you'll get it started. But if we don't make sure our children are educated, and you and I both know, we cannot depend on this public school system to do it for us. We got to own that responsibility. That's what's important. Y'all have an amazing day. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. Y'all got me hyped this morning. I'm going to get out here, get this run done. Have a blessed, beautiful, incredible Thursday. And I'll see you guys right back here tomorrow morning, 7:15 a.m. Central, 8:15 a.m. Eastern.